internet from out in the car. I need to go up there and shut that off. Got my motor back for my Thunderbolt. I'll be right back. I gotta go up there and get that, shut it off.
I'm putting my PA-75 and pipe setup back in this airplane. We're gonna try it again. See if we can't make this stuff work.
I'm really surprised that it picked this was in my car, in my toolbox, downstairs, underground, and it still picked it up.
Yeah.
Not very good.
But it picked it up.
Let's see, we got 4 watchers.
Hello, 4 watchers, like, thumbs up, super chat.
Y'all like good stuff. Okay.
Please, make it worthwhile.
Yeah, we thank Kim Stimson for the lunch. He gave $10.
Yeah, appreciated.
Okay.
If I can grab these wrenches a lot harder than I can grab them plastic ones.
That's right. That's why I like them.
He said, I can't remember, where'd he say he got these Allen wrenches from?
McMaster car.
He just bought individual Allen wrench sizes, whatever, you know, like 100.
Right, and then made ends for them.
He cut the L off the end of them. They're a bent Allen wrench.
You think?
I think? Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Okay, I'm going to do something out of the norm on this airplane. 2 reasons. Now, I hope you'll understand this. The bearing surface on this grommet is 1/8 of an inch wide. I'm going to run bushed 3/32 wire in my horns on this airplane. 2 reasons. 1, no ball link means no weight. You're going to have a piece of wire there anyway. 2, a ball link has 1/4 inch of bearing surface, and this has 1/8 of bearing surface. That means it's going to be twice as free. And less chance of failure. I need to get the bearing numbers for this engine. If you say you think the bearings are bad in this.
Well, I don't know. It's got a sound to it that's not like your other ones. It doesn't even sound like this one. Even though this one may not have the right crank in it, it doesn't. It sounds rough. I don't know what that means. But the first thing I would do is put new bearings in. You know, I mean, that's the cheapest, best thing to do. Right off the bat.
Probably Super Tiger bearings.
Well, it might be. But just get a medium, good quality bearing. Don't need ceramics or anything like that. I think that's overkill.
Well, I hope that works for you. I mean, I knew my engine ran.
Yeah, I know. Well, we changed, 3 different fuel tanks. My pipe was a little bit shorter to begin with. Now my pipe's the same length as the pipe that was on yours. Shorter shouldn't mean anything more outside of it runs a few more RPM. I don't have the shield on this metal tank, this new metal tank that I made, which is just a big wedge tank. It's not a clunk anymore. I should have made it a clunk, but it's just a big wedge tank and with no heat shield in there anymore. I heat shielded it from this, the header.
I've never done that until this last airplane.
And I'll tell you what, a significant difference. You can tell pretty quickly. What got me was I had another airplane and I kept having these run problems, and it acted like it was getting hot and going lean during the flight.
Mine acted rich, if you remember.
Yeah. And I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. And somebody had written an article somewhere and said, well, I shield my gas tank with a piece of wood. I just paint a piece of wood with some epoxy so it's fuel proof. And I put that in as a layer. Well, a lot of airplanes, the way they're built, it actually slides into a pocket that's got a floor on the top of it. Well, that's sort of shielding, because you slide your tank in from the front. These drop straight in. So, well, shoot, I had that time machine and it had a slide-in tank, and I never had that problems with that airplane. So I just put a little piece of wood in before I put my braces on there to mount the tank in it. I like to have removable tanks so I don't have to cut the braces out, but these are glued in there. And once you get them set, you really don't have to move them. But in that initial phase when you're adjusting your tank height and stuff, it's nice to have screw-in brackets, but they cost you so much in weight. It's a lot. They probably cost you half an ounce.
You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to cut this off, open it up, and see if I can drill a hole in it right there.
I might be able to do that.
Why can't they make anything that lasts?
Don't make any money on stuff that lasts. Did it go with?
Okay, I need something to pry this open. You guys ever have this happen? The key fob end popped off. So I just cut it off. We're going to open it up and see if I can drill through it. It looks like I can. But it's best to check
Yeah.
before drilling.
You want to drill through a battery or something, and have your little
The motherboard.
mini fire. Better hook the fuel line up, I think.
Ooh, it's a good thing I checked.
Never in there. Boy, this airplane looks like crap.
It's a good thing I checked. Look where it would drill right through the battery.
Yeah.
So we will do this.
I don't have any 5-minute JB weld.
It don't matter. I'm going to drill a hole in it.
And this airplane is light and everything. I wish I had gotten a better finish on this thing. I really screwed the pooch on that one on this airplane. It kept pulling up paint. Every time I pull that fine line tape off there, it'd pull all the way down almost to the wood.
What dope did you use on that?
Randolph dope, but that's got Dr. paper on it.
I don't know.
I didn't do anything different as far as finishes go. It just wanted to pull up. Now, I only used 3 base coats, not 4. So maybe it just wasn't sticking down very good. Alright, got that one. Move this out.
That ain't gonna last.
No, that's as close to it you can get.
Yeah. It ain't gonna last.
You got a nice flat surface up there when everything's put together to glue a plate on it.
Yeah. We had some kind of glue that would hold it, but it's plastic. It's gonna have to be JB Weld. Isn't that a bitch?
I got JB Weld, but it's not quick. I don't think I got any quick step. What's this stuff? Oh, there's JB Weld quick.
Listen, see if you can hear my car. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, JB Weld quick, huh? So what do you think out of glue on there?
Sand it real good, get some good tooth to it. I would say a piece of plastic, but you can probably get by with just a piece of 6-ply plywood or something like that, where you can get a good fillet on both sides of the time. There's a piece of 6-ply plywood. That's not plastic now, is it?
No. No, it didn't take long.
See what I did here? Milled all that out.
Oh yeah. Aren't you the slickest?
That puts the lead out real close to the end of the wing tip, and once that's shaped and everything, it'll almost be flush with the end of it. That's 1/8 of an inch below the center
That's funny.
of the tip. Now, all I gotta do is glue that in there. Which I use as well.
Only bad thing about this, these fixes never last. You know what I ought to do? What I ought to do is to take a piece of wood, draw around this, and inset it in a piece of wood, 1/4 inch all the way around, so that it's sitting in it.
Yeah, but yeah, you could do that.
That would last. This ain't gonna last. This is gonna break off.
Let's see, how thick do you need?
3/8.
Yeah, but you want 2 pieces, right? One on each side, and then screw those 2 pieces of wood together, and you're gonna need about 1/2 inch total to have enough meat to be able to have a little ledge here on it.
I'm just gonna inset it and epoxy it into a piece of wood.
Well, how would you change the battery in it if you needed to?
Throw it out and get a new one. I mean,
Probably $50 for one of them things.
no, it's cheap.
Shit. I wouldn't hold my breath on being cheap.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right, you could do it like that. I got some 1/4 inch light plywood that you could.
I would just need a piece that would look, just 1/4 inch around this way, all the way around with it inset.
Yeah,
Then I could even put a screw on it and a tab maybe to hold it in.
well, yeah, you could take that piece and make it whatever size you wanted to.
Let me see your 1/4 inch plywood.
Up on the top.
Up on top.
There's all that other plywood up there.
Well, here's the piece here. This is not light ply. This is regular ply. Can I use this?
Let me see if it's made for something.
It looks like you cut something out of it. The center of something.
Yeah, you can use that.
How are we going to route that? Well, I guess we could route it out with the mill.
You could, that moves my settings on that. Yeah, how good are you at, well, see, here's the deal. This mill, you can loosen this vise up and you can move it to different angles.
Yeah.
And so you can mill everything but the round corners. Like right here, I'd bring this right on up almost to a point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Give yourself plenty of meat right there.
This is not what I wanted to be doing today.
Well, gotta take care of business sometimes. Hey Dan, what's it like in that AC there, buddy? Are you out cutting the back 40 today?
I just want to know how I'm going to inset that. Should I cut this square first to mill that first?
Yeah, you want a good parallel edge with both directions. Parallel, pretty accurate. Otherwise, you'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable. I'm digging with this crap.
Put a little sweat equity in it. Doesn't cost you $60.
I think they were $18 when I bought that one. Of course, with the gas prices going up, who knows what it costs. But we'll get it. Oh, I wanted to tell you how bad we're getting hosed on the gas. I spoke about it. You normally get 100 miles per quarter tank. When I stop at that gas station in Muncie on McGalliard, and I do it every year, but now it's really good, I got 150 miles to the quarter tank. Unbelievable. That is a ripoff. Summer blend. Yeah, right.
Yeah. You think they'd use less alcohol? It doesn't evaporate as fast.
Okay, I want to. I'm just gonna eyeball this. I'm not gonna. So which way's this got to turn? It doesn't matter.
Go down. Yeah, flip it. Now, what are you going to try to do here? Just mill the groove?
No, I'm gonna mill this down in the center so it sits down.
Okay, now all you can do is go back and forth like this and in and out like this. If you want to transverse these parallel, you have to loosen these bolts up and turn that light.
Unless you're good like this.
Well, yeah. Some guys can do that. That's what I'm going to do. That shit doesn't set very fast. Try not to break it.
It's pretty hard to break.
You come down on here, you gotta go about half the thickness of that, or more than half the thickness of that. We'll take it in now.
Greg Nelson, thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, it's a good day to build. I'm stuck working on a key fob. Leveling is building skills. Check it out. Are you cutting the legs on it? Nope. Just the leaving. I'll hit it with sandpaper and could do is I could screw this from the inside of that thing down. Very good. It doesn't hold its depth. Just tighten the handle up. When you get to your desk, bring this around like that and lock it. Now you can't move it once that's locked. You gotta unlock it to move it. So that's all right. Makes quick work of me.
Are you using 1/8" horns on that big behemoth?
No. Well, on the flats, but on the elevators, 3/32.
Okay.
I'll just use a ball on a Dremel to finish it out. You got that carbide ball, right?
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't really cut it down. I can do it by hand faster.
Should have used a bigger bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're only making one horn today, elevator. 3/32. I don't know.
I don't want to drop silver.
I got some news for you guys. Do not give your phone number to Mike Lindell.
I take it you're speaking from experience?
Every 5 minutes, it's something from Mike Lindell. Where are the, I got carbide bits.
Should be in that compartment.
You got a ball. There it is, right there.
It's in there. There's a couple different sizes in there.
I only see one ball.
There's more than one. One's not carbide, the other one's just a regular
This is that rasty.
fluted things. I don't like using that when you got glue because it loads them up with glue. So I use,
I don't have a rule.
well, I know you don't, but I'm just going to show you this other one.
Why is this working?
Might be a better size for you.
Is this off or something?
Yeah, around the front. Yeah. Like them on. There's that one.
This is fine.
And there's that one.
I guess before I get too far out, test it.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, it'll be fine, I guess.
Enough glue on anything be fine.
A little bit more right here. It ain't great, but it'll work. Think 5-minute epoxy will hold it in there?
Probably as good as about anything.
I need a piece. Half inch. Key fob. You ready? Oh.
Where's your platform?
I don't have one. I don't want to do it until I got the wing built.
You Do you know the length of wire you need for this elevator?
Right here.
Is this gonna be long enough?
Oh, funny.
That's just the cutoff that I got in there. I'd like to use it up if I can. Yeah, by the time you're gonna come out and then hear about a half an inch.
Right.
I'll give you over an inch bend on it. Okay. And messy.
What do you think? Should I scuff this up?
I would, if you want it permanent in there.
Well,
Probably regular epoxy will work just fine.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-minute epoxy.
Get it back, I'll encase it in superfill.
It'll be a tree modeler's key fob.
That should be enough, huh?
Yeah, it'll hold it in there until you drop it.
About right. Okay. Epoxy 30-minute.
5 minutes probably this side.
5 minute.
One right behind it. Don't get that other crap. That's all the way back in the back. Don't get it. It's setting up in the damn tube. Crystallizing after 1 year. Crystallizing. It's hop epoxy, I think. Jump.
Not mix it too much.
Popsicle sticks up there.
See if this works, which it should. I can still change the battery on this.
Yeah.
Just another big turd to put in my pocket. Okay, what I did was I routed out that piece of plywood for that to sit down in there. Goobered on some epoxy that to that. And when this dries, I'll take the bandsaw or the jigsaw, cut it out till it's about 3/16 away from there, and then sand it up, drill a hole in it, and we'll have it fixed. Because you cannot fix these. They do not stay fixed. I'll probably end up having to buy one anyway. Well, you guys like my Thunderbolt? Can you see it? I can. Needs a different header on it though. I got it. Brand new one. I got a brand new Max.
You're totally ate up, you know that.
1.5 inch drop. I think that's 1.25 inches. I can see my Thunderbolt in there, can't you?
I can, but I don't know about anybody else.
Get that big 15.45 propeller on there, boom, and let it go right up to the sky.
Could be yanking him around like a puppy dog out there. Get some of them 30-mile-an-hour winds like we had tonight.
Guess what? It'll have 3 degrees motor offset.
I never said anything bad. Quit putting words in my mouth, because I never said anything bad about motor offset. All my profiles has got about 2 degrees in them. 2 or 3, somewhere around in there.
The real trick for this is I'm going to need to machine a T-bar, like Danny had that stock.
Yeah.
That's wide enough that I can run an 1/8 inch tube in there, because I gotta have, or make it out of brass.
What, the slider?
Yeah, because this is not gonna have a ball link in it.
Well, that's not a problem. That is not a problem.
I saw Bob McDonald. Good afternoon, Todd. I saw Bob McDonald almost crash his Thunderbolt for them ball links locking up.
I've never had one lock up, but I've had them. I don't put them in the airplane if they bind in any manner, shape, or form. I fix them. And what you need to do is here, this will stop that.
Yeah, you made a
You
ball.
make you a ball link reamer out of a ball out of one of them. Cut a slot in it, sharpen it, pop that in there, spin it, check it. Pop it in there, spin. It only takes 3 or 4 little spins on that. Or you can buy these things from Hobby King. RC guys use them. Find out what size ball you got. They're adjustable. This one I gotta make a wedge for it. I gotta make a bolt for it. I gotta make a 440 bolt
With a cone on it.
with a cone on it, so that when you screw it in, it expands that ball out ever so slightly. And that way you can make it adjustable and ream them balls out until they move. If they don't move, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, if your balls fall off, that's tough.
Yep, you're in a sorry situation. See, I'm playing with fire here. We got wood. Let's see, we got wood, fuel, lacquer thinner, alcohol, paint. And let's fire up a torch.
Did you ever see a Bronx Tale?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, it's with Chaz Palminteri and this other guy. His name is Cologino. Well, that's Chaz Palminteri's real name, Cologino. Robert De Niro's the dad. Anyway, Cologino and his little hooligan buddies are going to go down to the black part of the neighborhood and firebomb these guys. So they're in this car, and they got Molotov cocktails sitting on the floor in a cooler. And the guy's lighting up cigarettes back there. They did burn up. They all got killed. But not because of that, it's because something else. They got Cologino out of the car. Chasman Palminteri played Sonny. And he was the gangster of... It's a gangster movie.
Right.
And they stopped the car and got him out of the car. Pretty good. Yeah, this thing went from 1 ounce to 4 ounces. But it should hold. Did you throw out the epoxy?
No, it's sitting right there on the table. Just moved it over. I can get in it.
Gotta check the status of it. It's pretty almost dry. Dry enough that I can cut this stuff. Man, this thing's $100 key fob now.
You want to know how to act. Your head to be so
key fob. What I need to do is relieve this. You got a bigger mill bit, like a half. Well, I can't do it. How am I going to hold
I
that?
got 3/4 of an inch. I got.
I want to fly cut that on each side so I can drill a hole in it. With a,
I want to flank. What do you mean?
you know, half moving on both sides. But I don't know how to hold it. Should have done that.
Well, you could take it and just hold it like this and run it into the milling bit.
Yeah, that's good. So I need to drill this hole first.
You know, watch your fingers, because it'll take your fingers off.
You think? Yeah, and I still can get to change the battery. Huh? Ta-da! One more piece of crap to break.
Don't mar up my. Do it like this. Open that way up.
I'm gonna hang that as a stop.
Huh? It's block of wood in here.
Well, we're not going down to the bottom there. It's not even gonna get close.
I don't want you milling into my vise.
I understand that.
Oh, you're gonna go halfway from each side, or
Yep.
you know, quarter inch on each side or something.
Yep. Okay, so is this?
Turn good down. Why don't you just raise it up, use it like a drill saw. You hold it and go down and tell me when to stop.
Got it. So it's got an 1/8 of an inch left.
Cut them off rather than trying to cut it off set. Take an X-Acto knife and cut down on that.
That should be all right. That should be fine. Be beautiful. I can spray paint it black, you'll never know. I'll sand it up when I get home. We'll put a finish on it. Little Epoxy. Okay. Let's see if it works. Probably gonna feel like I'm carrying around a crescent wrench or something.
Probably. You need to get your belt loose.
Yeah. Mighty fine. Look at that.
Yeah. It'll work.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so we got one project fixed. Now work on these horns. Weggers, is it Weggersley? Good afternoon, Gary. If I wasn't so cheap, if I'd have just spent $100 more, I could have got the Rode filmmaker instead of that piece of junk that I got. So I got to send them back, and I have to buy them again. I've never returned anything to Amazon. It'll be the first time.
It happens.
It's just no good. If they wouldn't have lied, we wouldn't have had a problem. You guys all saw it. Couldn't even get 30 feet away from the transmitter, and then they went out. But the road all the way out there. I think you go across the field with the road because this is 2.4 gigahertz. The other one's UHF. So somebody will get a nice treat when they buy a pallet of junk from Amazon. Good for, it would probably work down here, but that's not what I want. You're trying to be damn windchip or what?
Trying my hardest.
Have you seen his horn?
Right.
What is it?
I got some. I had some. Man does good work.
Just like jewelry.
I try to do the same thing myself. I don't kind of like half-ass stuff. That bothers me. That bothers me.
So we're going to get to see what the weight, I mean, we're going to take a little weight off this, but the leading edge on this side is still not shaped. This side is, hey, while I'm here, do you think that we could make a 1/2 inch sanding thing? I don't have a 1/2 inch.
Because sworn I made you one.
Nope, 3/8 and
Gave
quarter.
you two of them.
Right, 3/8 and quarter.
I don't know that I got half-inch tube. Probably why you only got it.
No.
Look in my box there and see if I got one.
What box?
That door right there.
Are you making hash pipes?
No, that was something right in here.
There's one right there.
It's the same thing as what I gave you.
No, you didn't. You gave me one of these and one that's a little, one that's a little smaller. Yeah, that one and that one.
Those are the same.
One's a little smaller than the other that I got. I'm not
Well, I
sure.
only made two sizes of them, but
I'm not sure that this is even big enough. I got some 5/8 tube because this is actually 5/8 elevator.
well, then you need 5/8.
This will work. These are handy. You got to be real careful because they'll dig a trench like I just did there.
Yeah. You killed it.
Yeah, well, it's gonna take me a while to sand on that, no doubt.
Like one control horn made out of chrome moly and air hardened drill rod.
Unimus. Now we just need to bend it.
The guy said just take a pair of pliers and just bend it.
Yeah, sure.
I come from some old experts now.
I can do it. I did it before.
How many have you ruined?
A lot.
Yeah, it sort of makes you cry when you ruin two or three of them. $15 now. Back then it was about $8 and it still was crying. And I hate them wire brushes. And that darn stuff everywhere. You done with this half round or round?
Yep.
You do my flash.
Okay, here's
the bottom.
the mark. Did you have any aluminum tube that fits this?
What?
Oh, good. So my thought is to bury this in the.
Yeah.
What do you think about an
And
inch?
moving surface.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because see, if you want to tweak it, the longer those are, the easier it is to tweak, and the more leverage you get on it to tweak it. So you really want it to go back in there an inch, inch and a quarter. I know it's more weight, but the trim feature. if you got enough length on that wire to bend it 1.25 inches, after it goes through the width of the fuselage and all that stuff.
What happened to that horn? You got it?
It's over there on the table.
Over there on the table. Where?
Well, on the workbench over there.
There it is. Let's see, we got any chatters? Are you guys chatting? 11, 11, and $5. The name of the field we're at is Wagersley. Is that right, John? Wagerson.
Gardenson.
It's right on Michael Schmidt Boulevard.
No, it's on Siebenthaler
And
and Michael Schmidt Boulevard or Riverside.
Yeah. If you ask somebody where Michael Schmidt Boulevard is, they're going to say, where?
It is Michael Schmidt Boulevard. They name them names after people that did significant stuff for the city or whatever, as well as their old existing names. So, like Woodman Drive's got 5 different names to it, depending on where you're at on it.
What's the name of that road that Harbor Freight's on?
Need more road. Need more road. Woodman Drive.
Turner?
Turner Road. Wright Brothers Parkway.
That's all the same road, guys.
Yeah, that's the same road. One road.
Where's this far? It's really weird. Decided that my rudder that I built is too heavy. So I'm going to redo it just like I did with the Tucker until I get one that's light enough. Billy did open bay. Not that I want to, there are bits to finish. But I've got to figure out how to make this airplane under 60 ounces. I'm already giving up plus the weight of this. Guess what, John? It's 3 ounces. Oh, wait a minute. 3.3. Laying on the head there. 1.3, making sure. We'll probably get a little bit more out of that, but we got to stand and read and all that. We'll be 3 ounces. About 3.2 now, it's dropping. 3.5 in that area. It is what it is. I'll guarantee that I gotta take some off that rudder, because that rudder's 3/4 of an ounce. Ain't no way I can live with that.
Get that down to a quarter. You can.
It'll never get down to a quarter, but
Probably not, but
it'll get down to a half.
get it as close to it as you can. Okay. Well, we didn't throw that adjustment out. That's good.
So we need to bend this horn and drill these holes. I guess that's an 1/8 bit for that. I want to, instead of horn clips, I'm going to bury these aluminum tubes in there. Glue these aluminum tubes in, so that when these are all glued in, I can pull this pin.
Pull the pin on it, man. Look out.
Pull this pin and take the elevators off.
She's about ready to blow, boys.
I will sit in my chair outside tonight and sand this up.
Don't worry about me. I just get kicked out of you. The sanding king. Well, I'll tell you what, there's nothing wrong with that. And it takes that to get a really nice airplane.
And let me tell you something, guys. With all the sanding that I do, I don't sand enough. Because when they're done, I look at them and go, well, I missed that.
Yeah. That'll do.
Put some sandpaper on it.
Can't get there anything glued in there. I'm just cleaning out the little bit of glue juice down on the end underneath that.
I don't like that big slot in there.
Won't hurt nothing.
You only use this much of it,
I mean,
of the slot. You only use that much of the slot.
once you get it adjusted, hell, I might want them all the way up the front. Maybe that's where it trims out now.
So if it trims out there, stick some wood in there. Finish it.
You could do that if you wanted to, but you know, airplanes change trim all the time.
They do. Once I
Those guys, you just look at those guys at the Nats. I'd be willing to wager they changed their lead out positions from nice weather to high winds. I'll bet you some of them did. Maybe not all of them, but some of them.
Well, that's the difference between me and them. Once I get it there, it's there forever. Once I get the needle set, it's there forever.
A lot of times it's like that. I'm not saying, you know, that it isn't. But I put trim features on there so I have something to work with instead of, you know, I don't want to have to cut the chunk of lead out of my wingtip and keep cutting a hole in there, so I put a weight box in.
Trump rally pre-show. Kimberly Guilfoyle tells friends to watch Newsmax.
Yeah, right, okay.
So what's going to happen with this is it'll get a brass tube right there. This will get soldered onto an 1/8" piece of drill rod for the flaps. But a brass tube will go in there, and then of course my my push rod thing will there. And these are Danny's horn things, so that they're perfect position because he pre-drills his bell cranks. So the bell crank hole will match this ratio. And then this is 3/4. And I can go all the way up to 1/2 inch, which if the airplane's light, you can run that all the way up there. And that's what I intend to do. Because if you look at the way Billy's Thunderbolt is drawn out, did you see the size of those flaps?
Oh, they're huge.
They're 3.5 inches wide at the root.
Yeah.
3.5 inches, then they round.
Well, he got different airfoil than what you're putting in there, so you really can't.
I know he made up for wing area with flap.
Well, that's what Al Raby did.
That's wrong.
Well, if you want a semi-scale looking airplane and not just this big chunk of plywood, 4x8 sheet of plywood wing out there, you want it to look sort of scale, you got to narrow it up. And
why didn't he use the wing that I'm using? Why didn't he use the USA 1 wing? I don't understand.
Well, he did it for a reason. I'm asked Billy.
You know, a narrow root wing will turn faster, supposedly. But
You
then
mean a high aspect ratio?
a narrow wing, yeah.
That's a high aspect.
If you got
ratio.
700 squares on 2 wings and one's 10-inch cord and the other's 11.5-inch cord,
The 10-inch will turn faster.
right? Because there's less clock time.
Right.
However, you're spanning out from the center of gravity, and it causes all that.
Well, when you're in the wind, high aspect ratio wings tend to bounce around a lot more than shorter, wider wings do.
Right. Well,
So there's a, as in everything that we do, there's a compromise. You know, what do you want? So you build an airplane. This is my wind plane. It's got a low aspect ratio, you know. Well, this is my calm air airplane. It's got a high aspect ratio, got a lot more lift, more wing.
does it have more lift than the wing that I'm
It does,
using?
yeah.
That I'm using now? You think a geobolt? No.
Yeah, if it's stretched out longer, yeah. Yeah, longer span, yeah. I'll bet you that does. Already proved that stuff. Driving down the road in his car at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, Al Ray didn't have a wing in his airplane.
Well,
He had he had a thin wing that was short.
Yeah, it was thick and short, and the airfoil curved all the way back to the trailing edge. It just didn't come over the high point and then just go straight back to trailing edge. It arced from the front all the way to the back. And then he had real wide flaps, wider than anything, from the root all the way to the tip. They were real wide. Heck, you probably got 2 inches at the tip.
And 3 ounces apiece.
Yeah, 5 layers of fiberglass on them, and they didn't twist or nothing.
I guess not.
They didn't flex. But he had a reason for doing all that stuff, and you can't deny the fact that his airplanes flew well.
Shit.
The Ravy rudder,
No thanks.
you can use them, but you gotta know how to set them up. They don't.
And Keith Trussell has a cam-driven rudder.
Right, which might be a little bit better. I think it's a better idea because you can change the ratio and stuff. Unlike with Al's setup, it takes a lot. And you end up on Al's setup to get the deflection right, where you're not getting a 1/2 inch of rudder throw, and each way you move it.
Bend this up for me, will you?
You gotta pivot it right on the wire. You gotta pivot on this wire.
Uh-huh. You're the master bender, and then you need to get your Nobler in here. We need to tweak on that thing. Oh, you got it in here. I was thinking about how to do this and do it correctly. Do you have a protractor?
Yeah, I got protractors.
I don't mean, one that's a half circle and it's got degrees on it.
It's a protractor, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go. Let's see what we got here.
Doesn't matter unless you can jig it up and tell exactly where the center line is.
Yeah, we can't though, now that I look at this. Man, it's not gonna work. Have to eyeball it. Okay. We have. You don't have much, there's not much difference, John. So you wanna push that down.
What is this mark you got on here? Is this the inside of the bend or the outside of the bend?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Yeah,
You
because
got
we
something
haven't,
to play with?
I haven't drilled the holes yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to slide this back and forth, I think. So I got one closer.
Yeah, if you put that right on the center of the pin, that'll work.
Can we get them on there?
It don't matter till I drill the holes. This is a nice airplane. It's too bad if something's wrong with it. Yeah, I guess you do have more. Need to put this here and move those down. So we move that down. I had an airplane similar to that. It was an SV-22. It would turn so sharp outside, it was like lightning, but it was a turd on the inside. And
Well, that's sort of like that thing's acting is the same thing.
I couldn't figure out what it was. I just built another airplane.
Well, believe you me. I race. Let me sell this puppy.
Of course, you can always try the thrust.
Here.
What?
Put a blade in that. Try the down thrust on the motor.
Yeah.
Well, that might be another thing that's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to try the first thing I think it is. And I think it's what I'm telling you. Okay, we turn bending these the right direction. Let's see, that goes forward, those go back. Correct? Double check me. Those go back.
Yep.
Right. I do that. I want to make sure it doesn't slide on that. Bend. You can put them on, let it play with them.
Three and a half ounces. Damn!
Sucks though.
What are you gonna do? I'll bring over some bigger tubing. Are we doing anything tomorrow, or are you doing something?
I've got a couple things I gotta do. I gotta wash the windows on the outside of the house and trim some shrubbery. More outside spring tune-up stuff.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna build me a wing tomorrow. I think I can do it all in one day.
A wing in a day.
12-hour day? Yeah, I don't see why not.
Possibilities there. I don't see why you can't.
The only thing that's gonna hold me back is the landing gear clips. We got 13 watchers. You guys must be sanding or something, Danny. Dan, I'm warning you. If you don't get out in that garage, starting this month, next year you won't have an airplane. You'll say, I can do it tomorrow, I can do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Am I lying?
It comes up on you faster than you think, that's for sure.
You got to start preparing for next year's gnats now. I wish we had more fly time, but we don't. If it was at the end of the year,
Still don't have enough time.
yeah, well, I might do a little better though. I've got 10 patterns for the year. Not bad.
Screw that down. Get it on this, the left side down or the right side out.
Oh, there we go.
Get the crunches, that's why I put it in there.
Hey! Okay, they're on there. Whew. I was thinking those weren't on there.
They fit on there anyway. I've done them with and without. Bent wrong direction.
That would be a killer.
Yeah, it would be. You can tweak on those, whatever, straighten them out, or you'll have to tweak on probably because your holes might not be exactly 90 or whatever.
So now I need, you don't have those generally 1/8" bits. And we'll make a mark right there. That's where the horn goes. This is the Thunderbolt is pretty narrow back there actually. This is right to the plans. So you don't have a whole lot of room back in the fuselage. So that's that side. And this is this side. This is the weight of this right here, this stupid thing. So this goes here. We'll make it a 1/4 inch on each side. Okay, so the trick to my hinging system, and I've shown this over and over and over again, but I keep getting asked questions about it, is that these little lollipops hold the wire on the hinges and on the horn 3/16 of an inch away from the trailing edge, all in a straight line. So if this is straight, which it is, there's no bind. Everything's in a straight line. All the hinges and all the horns are in a straight line, and that's why they flop like John's hinges here, because everything's in a straight line. Oh, I forgot. I need to get out the saw and cut those things too. Well, we'll work on this first. And so we got an 1/8" bit, which is 250, or this size right here. Sure don't seem like an 1/8" to me. It ain't. is a 9/64, so this has got to be 1/8 inch here. Okay, you got, yeah, this is 1/8 inch. You got something smaller than 1/8 inch in your 1/8 inch holder. Where's your hand?
minutes, they think.
Huh? This drill bit right here is not 1/8 inch.
Well, might not be.
This is 1/8 inch. Where's your electric drill? Battery drill?
Upstairs.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, I gotta go get a soda, so I'll bring it down. Just hold it.
Huh?
Just hold on for a second.
Holding.
Don't hold your breath.
Now, if you watch the layout of this, you got to make sure to leave enough balsa in these areas here where the hinges go to glue the hinges. Otherwise, they'll pull out. You know, if you only got 1/8 of an inch or whatever, you want a full 1 inch. I got the Jim Lee hand drills that make it pretty handy. But he's going to get the drill, so we'll wait for a minute. Let's see here. Okay, you guys, we need some chatters. We need some questions or something. It helps the metrics when you guys leave a comment, not just a chat message, but chat messages help. When you leave a comment after the video, like, hey, don't do it like that, or whatever. Even if it's a bad comment, it's better than nothing. So we're going to make this the top. This is a big mama. You know what? I can use this. Yeah, I just used the Dremel to drill those holes. You didn't even have to go up there. So we're going to put in the horn. This is the bottom. I don't have my broacher here, so I'm going to force this puppy in there. This is the bottom. Turn it around. Let's see. He says we can get that on there. Yep, that's it. So take this, broach that round hole square. I can't pull it out. There we go. Okay. I think I want these on the outside this time. You're gonna kill me. You didn't have to go up there and get that.
You prick.
I used the Dremel.
Here.
What's this for?
It's a 5/8 inch piece of.
Yeah, but you can't solder on it.
No, but you can do your insides.
I already got the inside done.
Well, you're gonna have to go to the hobby shop. and find
I got
a piece
some.
of 5/8
I got some.
too. Where? From here?
Huh? No. I got some at home. Got some 3/4 too. Probably 3/4 would be better.
It might be 7/8, but see, this is made for this a hole saw.
Yeah, well, don't screw up your.
No, I'm not gonna screw up the hole saw, but that's actually 7/8 anyway. Copper pipe, a piece of copper pipe is what that is. But I sharpened the edge and made a end for it, put it in a drill. I need to make me some sanders for nose rings and that kind of stuff, but it takes such large round stock to get it out of.
I'll bring you some. I think we got a piece at work that 2.5 inch.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
I'll look around.
About 4 inches long. Get the shaft and everything out of it, or I can cut it into hockey pucks and make a couple of them. That'd be sort of a pain in the butt to do, but as Jim Lee says, you don't want to put them in a drill, but I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Just use 320 sandpaper or something on instead of 80 grit, and just go a little bit at a time.
See, I had it like this, so this one is this side.
Did that aluminum tube fit? Is that the
will.
right size for that wire?
Yeah. It will when I'm done with it.
I thought it might be too small, is why I'm asking.
Okay, it's right on the end. This thing here really works actually good.
Yeah, you can adjust the speed down low on it. That's what I like about it. Where you won't get chatter in it, you know, when you get, that's the problem with all my other Dremel tools. Hey, Bauer makes a Dremel tool. Harbor Freight Bauer. They make a Dremel tool that's real small in diameter. It's corded though. So it's not like it's battery operated or something. You gotta keep it charged all the time, but it's, I might get one maybe. It'll be a while. They're like $35.
But you don't want your attractive title expense deal?
Let's just say, can you say hang up?
think that's gotta be, you know what, let's cut this off. You got a pair of side cutters, we don't need it that long. Is drill rod cut easy?
Not super easy, but it cuts all right. One bigger pair.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, it ain't super easy.
Take it out of here so I don't break this.
Or you can grind it off with a cutoff wheel.
Yeah, I'll do that, whatever.
I'd be better. Here's a bigger set if you want to try them, but
Now let's cut it off. Where's the tool?
it's laying on the top workbench up there somewhere. It won't fit in that plastic box.
Are these the ones that we got at the hobby show?
Yeah, use their arbor on them. It's the only thing. They work okay for cutting off like that, but a lot of times I want to use the face of it, and they don't do very good on the face.
You got something that's got a big face on it. It's perfect for that.
Well, yeah, I got a bench grinder or whatever, but
The big disc sander over there.
yeah, I need to put a new pad on that thing. Readjust.
Why did it take me long to inspect that? The inspection was quick. Okay, so now,
Did you grind the benches?
Huh?
Give the paper good and then.
a little bit. This one here could use a little more.
I think they make a little conical deburring tool. And you stick on there and spin it.
They probably do.
Break it. I think they do, but they're probably $65, $30.
Yeah, for one-time use every,
You know, well, they'll do a piece of round stock anywhere from nothing up to probably ½ inch or something like that, you know. 3/8.
okay.
Need to look at that little saw and see if I can't make some kind of a micrometer type sort of adjustment on the blade height. It's the actual table that moves up and down, not the blade that moves. The blade's stationary. The table moves up and down. I think I need to make a little bracket on there or something. Take a screwdriver and sort of. You said something about that blade not being.
Not almost, it's close. Just not,
Are you getting where it'll go in all the way and no gap in the moving surfaces? I mean, that's,
Okay, if you look here, and I didn't sand much off the end of it, that's not 3/16 of an inch down. That's, the bottom of that thing is 3/16 of an inch down, but you want the center of that pin 3/16 of an inch
well,
down.
I understand that. But what you gotta look at is right here, is that barrel flush with the leading edge. And it can't be exactly flush, it's gotta be a little bit proud of it to have just ever so slight bit of gap, so you're not rubbing when it moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I've been tweaking on. I've got to recut those hinges.
It doesn't hurt so bad on this kind of hinging system since you got it recessed like that, cause the air gap, it doesn't mean anything. And you can always push it in this way and put a little dent on this front side into this edge, and that'll close it up and it won't hurt anything.
Yeah, but you also got to make sure that it doesn't.
Well, see, that doesn't per se move, doesn't have to rotate, and that stays fixed. And this rotates around that, so if that's recessed into this edge a little teeny bit, it won't hurt you. You don't want it to come back this way any further, or you start hitting back here in the bottom of that hole.
Yeah, I got to
And I made those I made them as tight as I could to allow for just a little bit of sanding, just a little touch in there.
I got to recut those because I cut those with a knife there, and I cut them small so I could run them through that saw.
You know what you did wrong was you made this piece first and then you put your holes in this. You need to put your holes in this first and mount those pins in there, and then mark this and cut it on the saw, and then these will be in exactly the right spot. You see what I mean? Because they can move a little bit when you do it back the opposite way, because they're flopping around in this piece and you're trying to mark it, and they can go sideways and everything. So if you put them in the fixed surface first and then mark your elevators and cut your grooves, and you'll be more accurate. That's what I did with these. I got 4 in my flaps and 3 in my elevators. No, I don't have the elevator built for that yet. I was going to do that the other day.
3 is no good.
Well, according to you.
You don't see them on that single, do you?
I don't care. I'm not Yashinko.
One gets in a bind. The center one gets in a bind.
It can, I guess. How do these guys get floppy hinges, and they got 8 hinges on each side of the airplane?
They're sloppy.
Yeah, it's hard to do. That's why using them barrel hinges, I use the next smaller wire size. Cut the wire out of the stock hinge and put a different piece of wire in there, a bit smaller. Cut out all the flashing in them. You're setting it on a piece of wire. I can see a big mark on here. What are you trying to put a radius on that?
I don't want to nick the wood coming out of there.
You should have put that on that middle over there and milled that.
It would have been nice, but this is already tapered.
You're supposed to do them things before you do that.
Well, I didn't. I didn't.
Leave it up to me. I'll give you a hard time. I'm not afraid.
Yeah. It's okay.
Why? Because I can. And you give me a hard time right back. So
You'll be fine.
I'm sure it will. I mean, at one point in time, we used axes and pocket knives and broken half double-edged razor blades. And
I have built airplanes with less. Much
oh
better.
yeah, all this does is make it easier.
Sand with a rock.
Don't have to dink around with stuff.
Come on, get in there.
You know, a lot of people go way overboard as far as accuracy and stuff on these things, and
We're not building a watch.
I'll tell you, anything within a 32nd of an inch is good enough. You know, and probably 32nd inch is not enough power.
Okay, so we got that done. They flop by themselves. Looks like I have a slight bind in this one hinge right here. Let me see your rat tail. Well, I could do that with the drill. I need to open this hinge up right here. And yes, it's because I did it backwards.
That's all right. I just figured that stuff out myself. That's one thing about them hinges when you're broaching them. If you don't have the approach exactly 90 degrees in there,
Right, it goes crazy.
it'll make your head fine. And you'll be searching for it, wondering what the heck's going on here? Why is this binding? And it's just not perfect 90 degrees. Same way with those rope or hinge point hinges. If you don't get them exactly 90, they'll do the same thing. They'll sort of.
But fortunately, we have the technology.
So true.
Because I will spend whatever it takes to make these hinges.
Oh yeah. You know, Charles did tried to contact that guy online on Stunt Hanger that does the hinges.
Southbridge CNC, yeah.
And the guy never did answer him on the website, so I don't know if Charles ever did. If you're listening, Charles, give us an answer out here. I know you listen to this every now and then. Did that guy from Stonebridge or Stonehenge, whatever it is, Southbridge CNC, did he ever get back in touch with you about the hinges? And if so, you know, what's he charging, or does he not want to do it? Does he want to do it? Is he doing it on just a limited basis? Let us know what's going on, because I don't think you ever did get an answer, actually a written answer on Stunt Hanger. Be nice to know, because we are going to run out.
I got enough for 10 more airplanes, probably. I'll count them when I go home.
I mean, I made a little jig to do them with, but it's sort of a pain in the butt to onesie twosie them like that.
Well, you know what? If that guy ever contacts me, we can use that to make them. We got the machine.
Yeah. Put the wrapper thing in there and go for it. You can take that off there, Sparky.
No, I don't want to do that.
That got that.
No, I don't want to do that.
Did you get that back 90 degrees? You said you dropped it.
Yeah, I did. That's not a bad little saw if it only had some gumption to it.
Add about another half a horsepower or something on there.
Does a perfect job for this. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
But you ain't gonna cut no plywood with it.
I put 2 of those carbide tip blades on there, and it acts like a dado blade. With a washer in between of them, got the gap just right.
This is always a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing nice about that is you got a tube in there that you don't have to try to drill a hole all the way through there yourself. With that tube in there, it's self-aligning.
Come on, get in there. There it is.
You know what I was going to do with mine to hold that pin in there? Let's see here. No, you can't do it on them.
I'm gonna take that, I got it bent this way, I'm gonna bend it into a U and stick it in and C8 it. Too far.
Yeah, you can't get past your hole.
You'll be fine.
Of course, you don't need all that much sticking out past that last hinge anyway. You can make that thing just go past that hinge about an inch or something and be done with it.
I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna epoxy those in, I'm gonna wait till I go home to do that.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's all set up square and level and flat, parallel, all that stuff, as close as you can get.
I could do it here, but.
I'm gonna be selling some engines here pretty soon. I'm gonna go through my engine supply and see the ones that I don't think I'm ever gonna use. And
You gonna
I'm
sell
gonna
some
get
super
rid of
taggers?
them. No super tackers are being sold.
You gonna sell any P8?
Nope.
Oh, we got nothing. Got nothing I need.
You're the one with, you got 5 times more PAs than I do. You need to sell me one of them.
I only got 2.
Oh, you got more than that.
No, I only got 2.
You got 3 75s, don't you?
2.
How many 65s do you got?
0, and I need one.
How many 61s?
0. I need one.
Good luck finding one.
I've been telling you I need one for my SXV Supermarine. I'll get one. And Randy wants to make a 65 in a 75 seat. I don't want that.
Why have a 65 in a much bigger, what he needs to do is make a 75 in a 65 case.
That's right, but you can't do it. There's not enough room for stroke. Because that's a 90 piston. I mean, it's way over square.
Well, it works, whatever it is. Well, that's as small of a case as you can get with shoehorn one in, I'm sure. Henry wouldn't do anything it wasn't. Too bad. That case though is probably a little bit on the heavy side. Probably could have been lightened up like Fox 35 cases, but then you're not going to have the longevity maybe, you know, flexing around too much. Well, I'm happy with the way this little airplane flies. I think it's got pretty good potential, you know. It's a noble after all. I wish I didn't have to tweak it. I know what I gotta do.
Gee, man, that is glued in there.
What are you doing? Don't worry about that thing. That thing needs to go in the trash. Throw it away.
Doesn't work?
Can't read it if it did. How come castor oil, you can wipe it all off and come back 15 minutes later and it's right back on it again. You like it rejuvenates itself.
Because you didn't get it all.
Well, yeah, I did. I washed the whole airplane down twice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed that before, where you wipe it off and you wiped it off pretty good, and you come back and it's sort of like expanded again or something.
Okay, we're going to try this like it was on the airplane. So the hinges are glued, well, just per se, the hinges are glued in. Put this on the horn. We're going to see how much of a pain in the ass this is going to be. Probably royal. Yeah, big one. Yeah, boy, buddy, it's gonna be tough. So we're gonna make sure that when I do this, it all gets painted, then the hinges get put on this, and then I glue it on.
Yeah.
This is not gonna be easy on and off. Even though the theory behind it is good.
You know what I think I would do? I think I would put that in there and just bend an L angle in it that matches, and I'd run a little teeny screw in there that just cut that wire through half the head, right in the end of it, and then you can back that screw out and CA the threads on it, and a little wood screw. Wouldn't weigh nothing.
Everything weighs something.
Well, put 10,000 grains onto it.
But one coat of paint is way more weight.
So true.
You guys that are the shine nuts, you got no idea what that paint weighs. When they say, oh, this finish is 6 ounces, do not believe them. If they got 10 coats of paint on it, it's 10 ounces. There we go. Finally, that was tough. I'm sure it'll be easier once it's all glued together. I see what I'm doing wrong.
I might have to do that all over again. I didn't think about that.
What's that?
Well, because these are leaning forward like that, these holes are going straight like that.
It don't matter.
Well, it would if it binds
It
going
ain't.
through
It
there.
don't matter. That brass is a lot softer than that cable. It'll round it right off. Come on.
I don't know that it's enough of an angle to really
It don't
make
matter.
a difference. I'll know when I start fiddling with them more. Let's see here. I got weight box in it. Got that.
We're not building a watch.
Yeah, need to cut some blocks for the top and bottom of each one.
I notice all Wendy's airplanes have solid lead outs.
Yeah, I don't like them. I used those years ago, and within the first week or 2 weeks that I had the airplane, I always bent one of them, and you could never straighten them out. And they'd always bend right when you had it out all the way. You know, so it'd bend right up close, and you couldn't get in there with any pliers or anything and get it, tweak it a little bit. That was sort of neat to get spinner back flips on this motor and have it start up. That's the first time I've done that.
That little motor is a good motor.
Yeah. That it is. That it is.
You don't see many people running them either, do you?
No, but after we started putting these things in there, and it was getting talked about on the internet. I was seeing a lot of people wanting them. You can't find them.
I got 3.
I got 3, plus I got a GMS 32, which I saw an airplane at the Nats that had a GMS 32 in it. And I asked the guy, he says, it's a little heavy, but the motor's got tons of power and runs real good. And it's sort of like that. It's about the same.
Well, guess what? An Aero Tiger will fit in there, the same block. But I think that's got more power than an Aero Tiger. Don't tell Randy.
Well, how this little puppy set up right here, right now, it runs pretty nice. It pulls this airplane around with plenty of authority.
There we go. We got her straightened out.
I might try a 3-blade chop on it, maybe. Except I'm already nose heavy. That's something I need to do.
Yep, there we go. We got her tweaked up. That one there needs to be moved over still. So that one got to go that way. Boy, I don't have them in square. I'm just going to have to take it square when I put those hinges in.
They're tweakable. I mean, you got that drill rod in there, and they tweak pretty easy.
No. The hinge itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to do that.
Look at it.
Ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a thing.
Look at it.
You know what we need to do? We need to get some more of this aluminum hex stock, 1/2 inch, and some 1/2 inch steel hex stock, so we can make
Steel
some
nuts,
steel spinner nuts if you're tail heavy.
which that ain't gonna happen. Or better not happen.
Can. I thought I might be able to take a little bit of weight off that, but I rather God not take much anything.
Well, you could do like they did in the 60s and take your motor out and start filing on it, but that don't take no weight off.
Yeah, and put it in the mill the fins off of it, take a quarter gram off of it.
That don't take no weight off.
The way that's drilled and all that, I can't really get much more out of that. $7 grams.
6. Nope.
It's this right here.
Yeah, that's the turd right there. That's probably 1.5 ounces.
I need a 1 3/4 inch carbon spinner.
22.
Needle nose.
So it's 1 ounce.
Yeah.
It's actually 8/10.
I already got the motor set back with that's a 1/2 inch.
Yeah. That's most of your weight right there. You could spin this up on a lathe and cut some of this out of it. That's 3, let's see how many grams. That's 9 grams there. You could sand on that. That's 12 grams there. Take some weight off of that. That's 5 grams there. You mold up plastic one.
I think that's too much fiddly stuff. I'd rather just get a carbon one.
Yeah, you can find it.
I haven't looked. I have to go on Hobby King or something and see if they got any.
China Charlie?
Orders.
See if China Charlie got one.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but gotta do what you gotta do. Somebody else got one. 1 3/4. I got another 1 3/4 spinner, but it's.
I think I'm going to have to cut back some of this lip so that I get more throw, because it binds up about right there.
You need to recess it more.
No, I need to cut this lip off here some more,
Yeah.
because it, I don't know, it's probably all right.
You only need about 30 degrees deflection, you know, so if it'll deflect 30 degrees before it hits. Oh, yeah, it's hitting right at about 30 degrees.
Couple swipes with some sandpaper.
Yeah.
It'll all tighten up when I put them tubes in there.
Lose a little bit there and rounding that side off.
Not much.
No, not much.
Let's see what it weighs. Please be under 3 ounces.
Silly boy.
3.5. Just the way it is.
Yeah, and it was 3.5 before you started, so.
Yeah. So it might go down to 3.3.
Maybe.
98
You
grams.
really can't sand much off of it. The only thing you could have done if you could have projected how much you're sanding in here to make that end block a little bit lighter.
It is. It's hollow.
You could have made
It's hollow out to here.
you could have made this trailing edge out of a piece of 1/8 by 3/8 and just put a block wherever these are going at and let this sheeting overhang, and that would have lost half that piece of wood there.
No thanks.
That's what I did in mine. But I used a piece of 1/8 by 3/8 that was hard.
Remember, I built 5 of these. I know what this thing's going to do. This thing has such dramatic harmonics in it. It cracks the fuselage right there. When you give it the thing flexes like that, you need as much meat back on the trailing edge as you can get. The leading edge is only 3/8. I mean, it's narrow. I even hollowed this out here. It's hollow right there because you don't need that. And then it's hollow. I mean, it's hollow. And then it has less ribs in. I did it just like Billy. You know, has ribs this way. It doesn't have any geodesics in it like I did on mine. Just figured.
Well, you really don't need it all that much on a sheeted.
And I'm gonna belt this because of that harmonics. And I'll thank Warren T. Hart for letting me fly my other Thunderbolt the year that the stab cracked. I thought somebody stepped on it, but this thing, because that's how wide the fuselage is, right?
The fuselage is real narrow. You don't have any footprint for it to sit on. So.
And this stab does not sit down into the sides. It's up on top. So then you have just the molded shell back here. There's nothing holding this thing up there.
What's the offset for the center line of your wing and the center line of your stab? How high? How much higher?
It's about 1.25 inches, I guess.
So you could lower it down. It wouldn't hurt it too bad as far as aesthetics, and that would get you maybe some more meat in the aft fuselage.
I'm just going to belt it. He doesn't show belting it on the plans, but I'm going to belt it, and that's another reason for the no ball link back there. There's no room.
Right. I did that to one of my airplanes. Which one was my Takana? I think it didn't cost me a whole lot of weight. I took a half-ounce cloth and I made little round circles, a whole bunch of them, and I overlapped them 50%. And went around because they'll conform easier, you know, instead of a long strip. And I went around that stab on both sides of it, and it really stiffened the thing up, you know. And I made them things about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, so they flared out pretty good onto the fuselage and the stab, and it worked real great. And that was a tip from Al Raby, because that's what he did around his canopies, and he did it around everything. The big wing, the stab, the canopy. Anytime he had something coming off that needed glued on, that got that treatment around it. And I tried it. It didn't cost much in weight as long as you use finished your epoxy. Use some super thin, watery thin epoxy, and by putting the little circles on there, it blended in real easy. Didn't have a real hard line.
I just know that this is a critical area of this airplane. It's terrible. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this bulkhead, because it's not drawn that way, this bulkhead is going to glue, the bulkhead here?
Yeah.
Is going to glue to that. And one other thing that's not shown on the plans is my rudder is going to sit on top of this. It's not
That's how it should be. Instead of sitting on top of your turtle deck back there, it should go all the way down to the top of that.
It's not shown that way in the plans, though. But
most of them down.
The way that I drew it, or the way that I built mine, it sits right on top of this.
I tie all that stuff together. If you could go on the inside of the fuselage and run you a piece of 1/8 by 1/8 on the inside,
that's what belting
opening, is. You got that in there.
I'm gonna not shown,
on the inside.
That's what I'm gonna do is belt it on the inside with 1/8 inch wood. And the best thing I could probably do would be to super fill it back there inside.
Use 64th inch plywood back there, and I don't know if that's not really solving a problem. It's adding weight back here.
And I'll bet you this one will do it too. The crack will start right at the leading edge. I got the other Thunderbolt ass end hanging on the wall in St. Louis at home. The crack starts right there, and it runs up the turtle deck like that. And it was so bad the year that Warren let me fly my other one. You could pick this up and it would open up. He said, "Well, you can fix it, just like Tryon said. Oh, we just put a globber on it." No, we're not doing that. So how I fixed it was, I made it look like it was a panel. I cut right here, down this way, and then straight across, and then up this way, so it looked like it was removable. I took the tail wheel off, and I put plywood on the thing so it looked like a cowl, but I just glued it back on. But I took that off, and I could get in there, and I could belt that, and I put a belting inside, and a lot of globber stuff in there, and then I glued that back on. But now that I know that that's a problem with the airplane,
You can do that on the outside too. Use wood and sanded it, glued it around the outside instead of a super fill, but I think super fill is probably stronger than
Superfill's gonna be stronger than balsa wood.
stronger than a balsa wood fillet would be.
Oh yeah. People were asking about superfill. Is it a glue? You glue something together with superfill, you ain't getting it apart.
It's a glue. It's just got a lot of filler in it.
You ain't gonna get it apart.
You know, I wouldn't glue doublers on or something like that because it really doesn't super penetrate, but it does penetrate. A dry piece of wood and you put superfill on it, that wood will suck it into it. You know, and then get a good strong bond. It's hard, and take a piece of it out and try to break it. It'll break, but it's pretty hard.
Not flexible.
No, not flexible. It's a perfect fillet material, I think.
97 grams. God, that's terrible. 3.4 ounces. It's going back and forth. 3.5. It'll be 3.3 when it's sanded.
Yeah, I think you're gonna put an ounce of dope and tissue on it.
Yeah. My other one weighs 5 ounces.
You got a piece of 2-pound wood that's that big?
I'd love to have a piece of
3.5 pound wood.
3.5 pound wood that big. I'd sand make it solid.
Yeah. That's the only way you're gonna make it lighter for sure.
And this is a small stab, but it is thick. It's got a lot of volume. Let's see it. I don't think it's as big as what we've been building, but it's a lot wider.
Well, I've been making mine 5/8 to 3/4 inch thick.
Yeah, but look at the distance here. It's 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4.
Ours are 8. Give or take a little bit.
And these are only 3 1/4. And the length is 27. So we're missing an inch there, but I don't know. I got a stab for
We're
it.
missing 3 inches on the length because these things are about 30 inches long, aren't they?
They're anywhere between 28 and 30. That's 27. You know what you're gonna do? Don't have the billy wood, the helium wood. This is the lightest wood I got. It's 5 pounds.
5 pound and a framed up, build up stabbing elevators.
There ain't a whole lot of glue on it.
Open bays, the only way you're gonna get it ain't lighter. Do like a Nobler, all open bay, stab, open bay elevator.
If I made this open bay, it'd break.
Yeah, it might. I mean, that's a small airplane in itself. Stick an 049 on that little thing.
Well, I showed you that we threw them out, right? Those open bay stabs I made. How much did they weigh? 3 ounces.
Well, yeah, we're at a 3 ounce dead point. You know, I haven't talked to anybody that's come up with anything any different. you know, weight wise. In fact, a lot of them said 3.5, 4 ounces. You know, and if you're getting them down to 3, and you know how many different kinds that we tried.
Just like a motor crutch, how much does it weigh? 3 ounces, unless you do some wonky stuff, which we're doing, and then there's still 2.5 to 2 3/4 ounces.
Landing gear, same thing.
Landing gear, 3 ounces.
3 ounces.
Control system, bell crank, push rods, horns, 3 ounces. Sticks variables, and the only thing you really can control is the paint.
Yeah, you can't control the pain. It takes so much, no matter what you do, but you can't control it.
Hey guys, if it takes you more than a quart of dough, you're using too much paint.
That's on a big airplane, 60-inch wingspan airplane. That's not a Nobler. That Nobler took less than that.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's probably not a 6 ounce finish either. It's probably lighter than that. 5 ounce.
Yeah, probably 5 ounce. There's no paint on that thing. See, you can see this spot. I scratched it right here. I touched it on something. There's no dent, but I scratched it, and it went through the clear, the paint, all the way down to the base color.
Oh yeah.
You see, so tell me there's paint on there.
There's no paint on that. I mean, it's covered. It's nice, you know, but there's no paint on it. You can see the weave in the. What are you gonna do?
No primer.
What are you gonna do? You have a choice.
See-through white, see-through blue, see-through red, see-through sorta.
The choice is you can have a beautiful 36-inch finish airplane and hang it on the wall, or you can have an airplane that's presentable and it flies well, you know.
Well, some of these people, you know, I agree to some extent. More horsepower or whatever, bigger engine will pull more weight. It will pull more weight, but
yeah, it has to pull more weight because it weighs more.
It's wing loading. It's the less wing loading you have, the better performance you have, and you can't trade that off. The wing will only lift so much weight. I don't care how much horsepower you put into it. It'll still only lift so much weight. And what'll happen is it'll turn and it'll go like that, or it'll turn and it'll drop.
Did you hear PJ
Or
Rowland?
it'll turn and you have a big giant radius instead of.
You hear PJ Rowland talking about his Nobler with a PA 65 in it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'll work.
It'll work, but is it optimum? No. What people did, and you know, as well as I do, people did in the past, is they put as big a motor in it to make the airplane balance. And they used the motor, the drivetrain, the weight of it, whatever, to make the airplane balance, rather than adding lead here and lead there and lead there and lead there.
Or using less paint.
And when they're building the airplane, they had the motor ahead of time sitting there, so they had their fixed weights already, and they built the nose to the length that it took for that motor in the right spot to balance the airframe out, you know.
With the changes I've made to this Thunderbolt, I'd be willing to bet it's going to perform well.
I gotta agree with Bobby Hunt though about that weight thing.
Yeah.
You can build an airplane too light, but nobody's done it yet.
That's exactly right.
And outside of that, the way they fly, the way they feel in your hand, that's a characteristic that you as a pilot can get used to. You know, if you're used to an 80-ounce airplane out there tugging on you, and it pulls your arm straight while you're trying to keep it bent a little bit, you get used to that. And then you go back there and you fly a little nobler after you fly that 80-ounce behemoth, and you'll think you're flying a little half-A airplane. Man, shoot, that thing don't have any line tension. Well, yeah, it's got plenty of line tension for its weight and its size. I personally watched Sparky fly a whole pattern completely upwind one day. Probably about 12 mile an hour winds, 13 mile an hour winds. Gusty. And it was exactly straight up wind. It wasn't there when he started it. But it was there when he got flying.
And I had the lightest airplane on the field.
A heavy airplane will probably fly smoother in high winds because it won't get bounced around as much. But if you're overpowered, you're probably not going to get bounced around much anyway. If you got it trimmed out right, and the prop and the RPM and the motor all tuned in right for a lightweight airplane, it's not going to get bounced around any more than a real heavy one, maybe a little bit. But it's still going to go where you point it.
This is Trump's website, and Trump's Twitter now. It's called Getter.
Get her done.
Mm-hmm. It looks just like Twitter. Wow.
They didn't block him.
Oh, it's his. He owns it. Look at the people there at his rally.
He showed his airplane coming into the United States from overseas. The Trump supporters in the whole United States. No, we probably shouldn't be talking politics.
Yeah. Look at that, what that says there. That one. You know what that means, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Yes, so true.
I figure this month is gonna be, look at that.
Well, every day there's a little bit more comes out.
Look at that. She looked incredible.
My ass.
Mike?
What kind of curtain rod did that come off of? That is flat ass gorgeous there.
You bet.
There's nothing more that can be said about that. That's one gorgeous woman. She's not pretty. She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Under the big flop, the Clown News Network.
Yeah, he lost all his ratings as soon as they fictitiously put Biden in office.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. What do you think, Robert, about this thing? You think I'm right about what I'm saying?
It ain't much. All you gotta do is stand up.
These gotta go. And then level them out and then make that what it needs to be.
You want to bend them now or what? You gonna do it by yourself?
I don't know if I can just do it by myself or not. I probably can. I'm going to take a couple pieces of plywood on each side of these and I'm going to grip them with a pair of vice grips.
Nope. Make yourself some sticks.
Clamp them like that.
Nope. Listen to what I'm saying here. Make yourself a stick about 6 to 8 inches long with a V in it. And then a piece of plywood here and a piece of plywood there so it sits right onto the flat. And use them as wrenches. I used to have a set of them.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Flap wrenches.
Yeah. Would have been nice to be able to have some kind of adjustment on that. But more weight.
Load her up. Well, guys, we thank you for watching. 17 watchers and 17 thumbs up. It says, let's see here. Good afternoon, guys. Watched you fly a while ago. Learned something new all the time. Shopping away. How satisfying. I don't know. Cold in New Zealand. I'll bet. It's your winter time. It's our summertime.
Craig on there?
No, it's Marcel. Could add a carbon fiber spare in there. I don't know what that's about.
Looking for a carbon fiber needle nose 1 3/4 inch spinner and back plate.
Add them sometimes in my. Oh, come on.
For a 2-blade prop or no cutouts at all.
Add them sometimes in my elevators for extra center section strength. Oh, spar. Carbon spar. No, don't need that. That thing is built. It's done. I'm going to rebuild the rudder. We're going to take a 1/4 ounce off the rudder anyway. I'll do that tonight when I get home, build that. We're going to build a wing tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can knock it out.
You already got the ribs done?
No.
Well, it'll take you a day.
I'm going to build a whole wing in a day. Less the leading edge, because at the leading edge, I need to come back over here and we need to cut. And then I got to cut the landing gear carriages. So I'll have this much of a wing, the back half, and then we'll just glue the leading edges on. No big deal. I'll get as much work done as I can.
So you're gonna build the spar back.
Yeah. I already got the spar cut and notched.
That's good. I see no reason why you can't build that in a day.
Just a matter of sitting down and doing it.
You know, the only thing about this changing the stuff that we're doing, it's stuff that we're just not used to doing.
Right.
It's not difficult, it's just different and you gotta adapt.
Yeah. Well, I already built one of those wings. That's what's in my little tucker.
Right.
You want to save this sandpaper? I got it all kind of wiped out. Yeah.
It does seem to groove in something that you don't want it to.
See, I can't feel those.
They'll show up.
They'll show up.
This wing you're gonna see this glue joint. That glue joint for some reason just.
I'm gonna go get some Tight Bond 3 and try what Bob does on them. We'll see if it does anything.
But join them and glue them on all at the same time.
He takes the sheets and he puts it up in a teepee and then he runs a line down and puts it back down and lets it dry and then.
You still don't. You're 50-50 chance of getting it flat.
I know, but I'm gonna try it because I guess you can sand that glue better than CA.
What I heard is that you glue them. You don't glue the joint. You tape them together like you would by doing that, and bend them and glue the joint and bring them back flat. You tape them together like that, but you just tape them. You put them on there, put them in the shucks, you glue them all at the same time. And the only difference is enough of that glue gets up in there, you know, when you're gluing them on the shucks, the foam core, that you don't need to glue that butt joint.
See, I can't do my foam core until I get back over here and get those stations cut for the landing gear. I gotta have them landing gear clips in there. So I have, my leading edge is going to have to be, we're going to have to hot wire the leading edge first. then sectioned it at the stations for the landing gear, cut a 1/4 inch out because it's 1/8 and an 1/8,
Right.
and then glue the ribs,
Put it all back together again.
glue it all back together again in the cradle, and then I can. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but in the end, I think it'll be worth it. Just to get, I like the look that the visual look of the leading edge, no starved horse look.
I think that'll work fine. I don't know that you have to put 1,000 pounds of weight on it.
No.
You know what I mean? To actually do that. You just need enough weight to ensure good contact. Or wrapping it with an ace bandage or whatever. It's not going to bow in between. There's no ribs to bow in between. So you don't have all these hard. You don't have this hard point, that hard point, that hard point. Underneath your sheeting. You've got 2 hard points. That's where you'll have your deviation at. Bob Hunt did something where he took those
Balsa
ribs
wood.
and capped them with a little thin strip of balsa wood.
Yeah.
But I tried that once and I super glued it. I made plywood. So it didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
So whenever you do that, you need to use some kind of wood that doesn't penetrate that little piece. Just use the
Epoxy. All right, guys, we're going to end up the show. I'm going to head on back. We're going to start building on my project at home. We thank you for watching during the day. It's been a long day, and I'll see you from home. Have a good 4th of July. Fair winds, tight lines.
Happy holiday.
See ya.
Bye.
And for anybody that wants to catch me, I'll be on later. See ya.